I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Madam Clerk, may I have roll call, please?
David Walker.
Here.
Soren Peterson.
Here.
Chuck Schultz.
Here.
Cam Gonzalez.
Here.
Mike Cunningham.
Here.
Marna Smith. Here. And Marcy Husted here.
We have a couple of things that we need to add to the agenda. Item number 7 will be a concrete pad for air conditioning units. And item number 8 will be, actually it's kind of a multi-purpose thing, so it's just going to be, we're going to discuss HVAC repair and maintenance. HVAC repair and maintenance, item number 8. Any other additions? Get a motion?
So moved.
Support. It's been motioned and supported to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Next is approval of the consent agenda, the regular board meeting minutes from September 20th, 2016, and the clerk's warrants and bills.
So moved.
Been motioned and supported to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next is communications. Number 1 is the fire run report, and number 2 is the Livingston County Sheriff report.
Move to place on file communications 1 through 2.
Support.
Been motioned and supported to place communications items 1 and 2 on file. Any further discussion?
Yes, one quick thing. Could you once again ask the sheriff if he would put a key on the pie charts? I'm tired of sitting there trying to figure that out on a Sunday night.
Who is
It's not that
what?
tough. It's just, I like the pie charts, don't get me wrong, but there's no
Yeah.
key. So I don't know what MTP is.
What does PUT
Yeah,
stand
what is
for? and-
PUT and
Yeah.
TYT? And I get others,
Give us a key.
but give us a key to
Yeah.
what that all means.
It's the townships.
Yeah, but which ones are what?
TYTs.
Right.
Probably Tyrone.
Yeah, it's just, it makes it quicker if I can just look down and not have to figure it
Brighton
out.
Township, Tyrone Township, Putnam Township, Osceola Township.
Complaining is all I have, Terry.
But a key would be nice.
I'll have you put it on.
Thank you.
Or I'll ask him to anyway, how's that?
Thank you. Yeah, I won't do it, but you can ask me.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next, public remarks. It's the opportunity for any public to make any comments. They like to about any agenda, businesses, items, anything? All right, we have none. We have no unfinished business, new business. We have Mr. Williams here. He would like to request to waive his fire run service fee. He was billed for a fire run. He did have a burn permit, but there was a burn ban that was in place at the time. So he is here, as you can see, he's provided us with a appeal letter, and he would like to address the board and state his case. And
Thank you.
so, go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Thank you for allowing me to plead my case. On the 4th of July, I was trying to burn some fresh brush, I guess. And I hear a siren, at which time I always say, God bless them. I look down and the siren is at my house, so God blessing myself. They just left the parade, the 4th of July parade. They walked up, ban on burning, which I did not know. Number 1, I had my hose there and it was turned on. I didn't know. Second thing is it never got going. Might be a bad fire starter, or it was green shrubs, but I tried 3 times to get it lit and it would not, it burned or smoked, but it never.
Bless you.
I'm truly sorry, I did not know there was a burn ban on. I thinking the other day that I've only been here a couple of years, so I'm new to the area. My last two homes, the last 40 years, I've never been able to burn anything. Never burned in Alma or Highland, Michigan. Break the leaves down to the sidewalk and to the curb, and they came and swept them out and took the brush away, and
Right.
that's the way I've been most of my life. So that was a shock, and then the other shock is I get a letter from Mike saying that I owed $1,400, and can't afford $1,400, so I'm retired. And sorry, I didn't mean to do it. The fire people were very nice. It was, I think, a husband and wife that came up and they understood and put it out, and I turned the hose on, and so, questions? Sure.
First question I have is, when you got your burn permit, did they give you the burn rules? They did not give you any burn rules? Because usually when we issue a burn permit, we issue burn rules. And one of the conditions of the burn permit is that you'll make sure that there's no burn ban in place before you burn. And you did say that that was the 4th of July, right?
Yes.
What happened on the 4th of July?
What happened?
Yeah, what happens on the 4th of July?
Fireworks.
Fireworks celebration.
A lot of fireworks.
Yeah.
Both in the township and the city, individuals setting off fireworks.
The night before, the day of?
Pardon?
I'm just saying, I'm just
Oh.
asking some questions.
Oh.
Those are the only questions I have. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Just to be clear, you didn't receive any of the instructions, they just gave you the permit and none of the guidelines were, at least not to the best of you.
Yeah, they're usually stapled with the permit.
The receipt or?
Yeah, with the receipt or the permit is what we'll usually do at the treasurer's office. We staple it to it, so, yeah. Yeah. And you
I
did,
didn't know it was the burn permit, or a burn ban, so I
Yeah, sure.
just.
Understand.
yeah.
But you did have a valid permit to burn?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions for Mr. Williams regarding this?
Well, it's kind of pretty clear cut.
In lieu of the fireworks going off as steadily as they do on the 4th of July, my home, we do fireworks too, so I know what I'm talking about. It's a wonder that more fires were not started accidentally, being, you think we had some rain the previous couple of days, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. One of the things that, and of course, it's an old thing, ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's a known fact. Did you try 3 times to start the fire? Oh, my goodness.
And it never started, so.
You would make a lousy Indian.
I'm glad I'm in this generation instead of.
If we don't have any other questions, then we can
I
just
really don't have,
talk about it.
I would like to,
I know that he did have a burn permit. That's key. And I understand that, there are burn rules that are issued with that. And, burning responsible is part of the conditions of having a burn permit. The reason why I asked the 4th of July question, I would sit there and there was not a firework ban, but there was a burn ban. Kind of contradictory.
But the burn ban had been in place for
It
quite some
had-
time.
It had been in place.
Yeah, it was a very dry summer months.
I mean, we could have just as easily had a fire starter from fireworks as we could have, but fortunately.
Well, and you don't want to discourage people from getting burn permits, so it's, I
And
mean,
that's true.
that's, you know,
Luckily, we didn't have a fire and we didn't have a disaster. So, comments on it.
sure.
Comment I would like to make is that I've got a burn permit for a number of years, and I think there was only once or twice that I got a instruction sheet to go with it. So I can understand the point of view that if you didn't have it, you didn't know.
Right.
Yeah, I get that too.
I get one
How
every
many
year.
of us
I've-
really,
I've
really,
always gotten them.
you got a new remote control or a new, anything, how many of you guys read the rules? Or how to operate it? How many?
Yeah.
Gee, you're a bookkeeper, you had this.
Well, I do frequently because I
count.
have to enforce it.
Yeah,
It goes through my office.
But a lot of people don't. And, I mean, we're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
And I-
Well, in the spirit of just moving this along, I'll make the motion to waive the fee.
Second.
It's been motioned and supported to waive the fire run charges to Mr. Williams. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Got 5-2.
But it's passive.
Okay. So we'll send you a letter telling you that you don't have to pay a fire run.
Thank you all.
All right.
But please follow the rules going forward because they're there for everybody's protection.
You got it.
I put the stipulation on there. All right, thank you.
Do I get my burn, you canceled suspended my burn permit, should I buy another one?
No.
No, it'll be
It'll be reinstated,
reinstated,
and I'll
yeah.
send you a letter that outlines that.
Thank you all.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping in, sir.
Next is request to authorize the annual maintenance repairs to Park and Lane. Marcy?
Park and Lane has a special assessment for road maintenance, and it needs to be seal coated and some cracks repaired. I'm not asking for approval to select one of these companies. I'm just asking for approval so that they can go ahead and pick a company and then just authorize the payment of it. Because they're gonna, the homeowners are going to get this information and then they will actually decide who they want to have do the work.
Well, I just got one question. As far as this, and maybe it's not even up to us to ask the question, maybe it's up to the homeowners. That one's got for 1,800 linear feet of crack, and the other one has 1,100
Yeah.
plus feet of crack.
They're very different
They're
bids.
Are very different bids.
Apples to apples.
And
I know they used Allen's asphalt in
that's
the
what I
past.
thought. So Alan should actually know.
Yeah, so
What-
hopefully the residents there will maybe base it on past maintenance that they've had
Right.
from the
And-
companies
And are we
that,
responsible for getting these quotes to them?
Yeah, I'm going to get them to them.
Not just, no, I mean, not just paying the bill and collecting their money and paying the bill out.
the monies have already
Are they
been,
responsible for getting these proposals, or we are responsible for going out and
Well-
getting these requests for proposal?
See, this fell under the old way that special assessments were being done. Today, we would have them go and get their own bids, but because it's one of the existing special assessments, we went ahead and got the bids for them, but I'm
We'll
still
share the
going to,
results with them. I'm
Right.
sure
Okay.
we'll go over the,
Being as we're
Difference
tied
in
to
the
getting
cracks.
this, yes, we should probably let them know that there are differences that they need to
yes.
pay attention to.
And I have a couple contact people that I will get this information to.
So what are you looking for a motion for on this? Because we're not approving it.
We're
Get
just,
the
well, we are
information
going to be paying it.
so it's to
on their
authorize that
behalf.
they'll have seal coating maintenance done this
Yes.
year, and there'll be an
Yes.
invoice due, that the township has the funds collected already.
Right.
We have it set aside in a special assessment fund. So I'll make a motion.
Either one of these?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the maintenance on Park and Lane Road project and to be paid out of that special assessment funds for the service for the 2016 maintenance year.
Motion, are we getting a second on that?
Yeah, sure, support.
Okay. All right, it's been motioned to authorize the annual maintenance repair for Park and Lane and paid out the special assessment that's set up for that already. Further discussion?
That is, what we're saying is that we have funds available to pay
Right.
either one of these.
Yeah, they
that
already have
choose.
that
Yes.
existing
Money's already
special
there.
assessment in place, and they've had for, I want to say, what,
an
6, 7 years? It's ongoing.
Yeah.
It's an
I think it's a
ongoing.
10-year assessment, if I'm not mistaken. But what they did at one point is they repaved that, so these are just the maintenance for the
We are
repaving.
approving to pay either one of these two that they
Yes.
pick.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. So we have their funds, and we're holding their funds, and we're just letting the board know that we're going to spend those funds for their repair. So, all right, any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Next is request to clean the air ducts at the Township Hall. Well, we've been having a little bit of allergies, and a lot of colds, and sore
Weird,
throats.
weird smells.
Started looking around, looking at our ducts, and
They're gross.
we can never find any historical data that they have ever been cleaned
cleaned?
from 1967, and they are pretty nasty. So, we should get them cleaned and sanitized. We've got a couple of quotes for that. We had Modernistic give us a pretty good quote
Ducks.
for the ducts. And we also had a proposal for carpet cleaning. And we also had ducts come out and give us a bid. And obviously, the Modernistic bid is a pretty good deal. So we'd like to do the
Did-
Modernistic bid to
Yeah.
have the ducts cleaned.
And I did talk to them about the sanitizing the ducts. Now, I don't know personally if that's a good idea. I don't know if anyone has any.
I'm kind of concerned at the differences between, same thing with the previous, that the differences in the cost are drastic.
yeah.
And is Modernistic just a restoration company?
Well, I called
Or
and
what do they
questioned.
I mean, they're just cleaners.
They are.
Right? Like carpet cleaners.
And they do duct cleaning.
They actually have a division that
Yeah.
cleans ducts.
Yeah, they do. And they just opened a location in Flint at Miller Road, because I called him up after I got the estimate, and I said, are you sure this is accurate? Because I already had the other one. I didn't tell him that, but I said, are you sure? And did you measure properly when you gave us the quote for carpets? And he said, yes. And he said that the rates that they are charging in our area are the same as what they're charging in the Detroit area, but for our area, they are coming in way low. In the Detroit area, they're more toward the top end. He doesn't know why, but I did question him, are you sure? And he told me that if we are not satisfied and we want them to come back out and completely do the job over again, they will do the whole thing over again for us. They will show us the before and after photos. And they're a reputable company. They've been around a while. So, but yeah, I did question him because
The
it
other
seemed
question I
low.
have, is it because they're also, I mean, are we getting a deal on the carpet because of the duct? Are we getting a bundle package here?
That I don't know.
Because if we go on in this and we vote the other way or whatever, is it
Well,
going to impact what the
Doesn't say
prices are?
After the fact, I asked him about carpets. I mean, he'd given us the quote, but I had him come out to give us the quote on the duct cleaning, and while he was here, I said, can you give us a quote on the carpets too? So, I mean, I don't think that's
And it's
a
itemized.
deal breaker,
so,
right?
yeah.
If we don't go, although,
Another thing here is they say that the new filters are going to be supplied by the customer. Now, how is that working out here?
That's just on the furnace units, and we already have filters for them.
We have filters.
Yeah, yeah, we buy them in bulk at the hardware store.
I have the other question I have is the 225%, is that extra?
Yes.
Yeah, that's to
Okay.
sanitize, and I figure if we're gonna stir up all that stuff, we might as well spend this.
Other than that-
to sanitize.
They have everything clean, 3 furnaces,
It's the
commercial carpet
same
cleaning,
amount.
clean exhaust fans and bathrooms,
Yeah.
clean all carpet, clean all runners, yada, yada, yada. We've got
I mean, maybe because,
$2,200.
maybe because they're opening up
pretty
in the
reasonable
area, they're
compared to the
trying
other
to get the,
But we have this
So-
on the agenda as to clean the air ducts.
for right
So
now, just the
that's
air
what
ducts.
We're asking to approve
Okay,
the air
so-
ducts. Then we have quotes for the carpet and modernistic included theirs on this. So right now, we're gonna talk about
Just the air ducts,
approving
the
Or-
furnace and duct cleaning.
potentially approving air duct cleaning.
Is there a way that we can amend this to include the carpets at this point?
Well,
in
we're
time?
going to, it's
We
next.
will.
It's next on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So moved, and include the sanitization.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the request to clean the air ducts, to modernistic and sanitize the ducts. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed. Next is item number 4, request to clean the carpets at the town hall. Well, obviously, when we clean the ducts, we're gonna knock a bunch of stuff loose, and annually, we've been cleaning our carpets because we put new carpet in 2 years ago. We got a quote from Brendel's, who did our carpets last year, and, Rendel's, I'm sorry, and they were $700. We also had Modernistic quote us, and their carpet cleaning was
309. Oh, 222.
222 and
And then
807,
runners.
so that's 309.82.
So when they say the runners, is it like all these little?
Yeah,
Those
they're
bags.
gonna clean the
He went
mess,
through and
too.
counted
Because you used to
them.
clean those.
I did. I
He's
used to
taking
clean
rid
the
of the-
pressure washer out here,
Yeah.
pressure wash them clean and hang them out and dry.
Now, my only concern is that, because we do have the new carpet, are they gonna clean them so that we don't lose warranty
Yes.
on it?
I
Yeah.
did ask them.
It's truck-mounted, steam cleaned,
Okay.
as recommended by our carpet installer, Plus
Okay.
Carpet out in.
Okay. Meets the warranty.
And what
then.
we're going to try to do, since we didn't get the carpet cleaned in the spring, going into winter seems like an odd time maybe to clean the carpets, but we didn't get them cleaned in the spring from last winter. So next year, I would like to get us on a regular schedule to
Every
maybe do
spring.
them in May or June of every year,
That's
so
probably
that.
good, after all the salt. and
Right.
everything. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
now that we've had Rendell's clean before, has anybody had modernistic experience with
At
cleaning
my
carpets?
house, yeah, I was using another company, and I switched to Modernistic, and big difference. Carpets got cleaner, drier quicker, they just did a much better job.
Rendell's does a damn good job too.
Yeah, they do good work. Yeah.
No?
Well,
The better price again.
if it's not, if they don't do a good job, then next year we'll have another conversation.
We really don't have that much carpet in here, though. There's
No.
very little
What,
carpet.
1,700 square feet for
Yeah.
this building, which is what, 6,800 square feet?
Now, this is just gonna be cleaning where the traffic areas are. They're not gonna move anything.
No, they're,
Because I was gonna say, they don't need to
they
be
might lift a
moving
few
this.
things out of the way, put chairs up.
Right.
I think, but before we leave, everybody should put their chairs.
Put their
on
chairs in
desks
here, or-
And make it easy for them so they can get in here and get it
yeah,
done.
okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion to
I'll
have
support.
modernistic clean the carpets.
It's been motioned and supported to have modernistic clean our carpets. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next is item number 5.
Excuse me.
We have a request to approve additional costs for data drops in the Township Hall. As you know, we had some data drops that were put in. And as you know, we have a challenging building that has had several additions and has different types of materials that can compose the building. And they came out and said, look, we need to do some additional work. We're gonna have to buy some different stuff. We can't run the lines down the walls because there's brick. And there was some additional costs. And I said, well, you know, you're here, you can either do one of two things. You can either finish the work and submit a change request, and I'll have to ask the board to approve it, they may or may not, or you can pull up stakes and rebid it. He goes, no, I'm not that type of guy, but I'll submit a change request. So we have an additional $650. There was a lot more, it was a lot more labor intensive. We had to actually put some channels to run the stuff down the wall, adhere it to the brick.
Oh, yeah.
He got up in the attic. I mean, he was initially slated as a one-day job, was a two-day job. Regardless, they got in, they did a good job, and they're working fine. So this is his proposal. So I told him I'd bring it to the board and let you guys decide what you want to do on it. And the work is done, and it's very satisfactory, so.
Okay. And this just comes out of the building, like building and site fund?
And there's plenty of money in building a site
Okay.
for this type of stuff.
All right.
It's-
But this, what we had added is sufficient to do, like we're adding with the assistant assessor, and it's gonna be able
Right, this
Do what we
this
need to
was
do
the
back.
data drop, so we could have the additional copier back here.
copier, yeah.
And it was the data drop because we have that new assistant assessor, so we needed another workstation.
Okay.
Minor point, are we supposed to be charged sales tax?
No, we can have that taken off.
Oh, yeah, we should be exempt. Give them our,
Well, if it's on materials,
Oh,
is he getting materials wholesale and reselling it to us? He might have to.
we might have to, yeah. That's,
Yeah, but we're,
I think we're still tax exempt.
Yeah.
We'll just have to provide the exemption certificate.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Good catch.
oh, $5.
It was worth the time to bring it up.
QuickBooks, it's just QuickBooks software.
So whatever you guys decide to do,
Now, this is already done?
work's done.
Okay, so he already did all this, and he's hoping that we compensate him for it.
Right. Well, I gave him the option. I said, you know, you can either pull up stakes and rebid this, or
Stop the work and,
you can work and send us a change request and I'll take it to the board. And he said, you know, I don't want to do that to you guys, so.
In the spirit of moving this on, I move to approve the payment of this bill.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the change request for the data drops at $645, which is minus the tax. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Next is the review draft of the RFP for engineering services. Last meeting, we had discussion that our engineering contract had long expired. The board decided that we should, consider putting that out to bid. And we had a gentleman that was here, who's here tonight, Phil, and he provided us with some RFP stuff here, and it's in the board packet to look over, and he's here if you have any questions about this. This is what we would use to put out to bid for engineering services for the township.
I would like to see if there's anything in here for us to have an as-built drawing. I didn't see anything in here to have an as-built drawing of the property or of the building. For what we know, we could gather all information we have, give it to them so that they can draw an as-built drawing of this building, so we can have living documents
Sure,
we can.
and once we get a proposal of what the services are and what the rate is, then we can ask them, hey, how much are you gonna charge us to do an as-built drawing, and then bring it to the board, prove the expenditure and have it done.
be like the first project we have them do.
We do have segmented drawings, but you're right, I think we do need
need
an
that.
as-built with all the,
county building department have a print of this?
I have prints of the building, I just don't have one as it sits now. I have segmented ones. So I don't think it's going to be that difficult of a task to perform. Would you say, Phil?
It's gonna be
Depends on
expensive.
how far you want to go with it, but-
That's true.
and how correct the construction drawings are compared to what they actually built.
Right.
Well, I mean, it will be expensive to get that. We just went through one with another organization, and it was expensive, but the longevity and planning is priceless. You know, to be able to have that and have that in their hands as they can manipulate the building as it grows
Sure.
and ages and things get edited and deleted.
Sure, and I think there's a lot of things that we can, need to discuss too, about future land use here, future building improvements or expansions. Figure out, put some sort of strategic plan, not meaning that we're doing something now, but set something in place for the future, saying, hey, look, this is what we got going, and this is what we're doing to save money for it, so.
That's if you hire somebody.
All right, so the only thing I have questions, because this is completely new to me, and it's obviously, this is a great way to put out your request, to have professionals respond to it. So when we get down to this, the evaluation criteria and selection process, and that's going to be key for us to make decisions. What types of resources, I mean, anybody's going to say what they want. Where, as the board, where do we find resources to confirm it or be able to make comparisons, apples to apples, or see, like, this firm really doesn't compare to that firm? Like, what?
The request for proposal, they have to
Right.
conform to all the
All of these.
requests of the proposal.
Right, and,
Yeah.
in looking at it, it has, taken into consideration what we have here, water resources,
Very thorough.
wastewater,
Right.
transfer, it's a
Very thorough.
great RFP,
Yeah.
I like the GIS information stuff too.
And again, that's the only reason I asked that, if we're gonna ask for proposals for an engineering firm, we may as well have that said hey,
Well,
give
you
us a
know what?
proposal right
And-
off
and
the
we
bat.
can- We
and
can
ask for it to
ask,
work
we can
with us.
ask for recommendations from, our county people, our trade commissioner's office, anybody that, yeah, Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, MTA is a great resource for this kind of
Okay.
stuff. And then other government agencies are a great
Oh, like your
resource because
neighboring, okay.
a lot of the people like us that do this, we work with other communities around here.
Right.
So we're gonna have had interactions, so you can get a lot of reference stuff from
Okay.
them as to who they use, who they like, that kind of thing.
Okay,
So those are a couple great resources for you.
okay,
We can also check their websites.
right. Okay,
Yes, go ahead.
And I would also recommend, and I didn't put it in here now that I think about it, it might be something you guys want to add. Every firm is different in terms of personality and how they do things, and you're going to have a hard time getting that from just paper.
right,
So what a lot of communities do is they'll get the RFPs in, they'll look at them, they'll pick a couple out of there, 3, 4, 5, depending on how much time you want to spend, and then they'll actually interview those firms as well. And that would be another possible thing you could do. Again, it takes time, but there you get an idea of the personality of the people that you'll be involved with and that kind of thing.
That makes good sense.
okay. Time commitment. Okay, thank you.
So I would think that, everybody's had a chance to review this. If there's anything that needs to come out, we could talk about this at the next meeting, or we could go ahead and include the part about, there will be a selection process to include interviewing the finalists. And we could put this thing out for, 3 or 4 weeks and take some proposals and see what we come up with.
Needs to happen.
I think we need to move forward with this, yeah.
I think we have a lot of things hanging out there in the future that
I
we should
mean,
have.
we keep talking about maintenance to the building and,
Yeah, we never resolved our electrical stuff. Maybe we
Well,
should.
no, that's part of,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's part of all of that,
It's
just
It's
part
like
of the
this
as-built and
needs to
everything. we need
happen
have.
first.
And there's been talk about a large parcel vetting suitors for development up there, and I would definitely like to have these services available, not only for storm and roads and all type of stuff. Just to make sure that, we're being covered.
Well, even though this RFP is, RFQ is so thorough, should we just, hey, they need to also let us know give us an estimate on an as-built within this?
Wouldn't that be just part of the services you'd be coming back on
Not
engineering?
really, because then you're gonna have, it's a big undertaking, it's a process now, and then we're gonna be subject to hourly rates and everything else like that. We'd rather know what this is gonna be into whoever we select. We're gonna wanna know, this is like the first big project immediately.
Well,
And when we select a person, they're gonna have a
that
first big project.
might help for the ones that want to respond, that they know that's the project they're, we're going to get
Not the
started,
biggest thing in
it's
the
a
world, but it's-
project.
We're talking $20-some thousand it's probably gonna cost to have all of this gone through with the electrical. They're gonna bring an engineer, they're gonna dissect as much as they can with electrical, HVAC, plumbing, everything, and give us the most accurate that they can do. There's gonna be some flaws in it, but it's still
Or,
gonna be.
or do we do this and then as part of the interviewing process indicate that's what our interest is and that we would be setting up?
Either way, but we just keep in mind, whoever is winning this is probably gonna be,
I think we can address that in the interview.
okay.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you've got enough flexibility in the last paragraph of the RFQ. So if you, Marcy, if you can scroll down to the last paragraph. So if you've got enough, to Chuck's point, in the second in the second sentence, the selection and evaluation committee reserves the right to expand these criteria to include any other pertinent requirements as deemed necessary. So you've got enough flexibility in the RFQ to say, by the way, this is the project that we see coming first.
And that would be
Yeah.
the key thing in the interview process.
Yeah, sure. And the same thing with the interview criteria. You've got enough flexibility in the last paragraph that you can
Do that.
you've got a lot of room to breathe in that.
So.
Yep.
But let's include that there will be an interview process.
Well, once again, that's
That's pretty much, it's stated there.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much within that
With the committee.
latitude. The committee
The
reserves the right to
evaluation
expand these
committee.
criteria to include any other pertinent requirements as deemed necessary.
And I
So
mean, we can,
Okay.
it's like an omnibus clause.
yeah.
Okay.
Do we even need a motion to move this? I don't.
I don't think so, because we're not.
Because all you're doing is
spending- we're
releasing
just-
for an RFQ. so
We're just
yeah.
putting an RFP out,
Yeah,
so
RFP.
I just wanted to bring it to your attention, that's what we're gonna do, and
But this is a format that we would like to follow, though,
I
because
think
it's
we
very
need to move
professional.
on.
I do like it.
so then we'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
All right, next is, item on the agenda is, item number 7, concrete pads for units. There's several papers that were sitting here. If you go to actually the one that says Macklin Mechanical Company, and you scroll to the second page, we had these air conditioning units installed approximately 7 years ago. And if you flip through these photos, you can see that they were installed right on top of a plastic pad at the level of the ground. So what's happening is when they come in and they put down salt, it's deteriorating these air conditioning units. As you can see, it's getting into the vents, or the cooling fans
The
inside the
coil.
vents,
It's
the
like-
coils there.
Yeah.
And something needs to be done immediately, or we're gonna be buying new air conditioning units.
Was it only
So,
7 years old?
they're only 7 years old.
Wow.
So,
That's not good.
we could go how and why they were installed this way, but because we need to get it fixed, otherwise we're gonna be into, and they are out of warranty, so. I have a bid from our concrete gentleman, and did you ever get that other
You know
one?
what? No, he's gonna come out after hours to do it.
Okay. And we talked about just doing 2 concrete pads, and then somebody else said that we have a bid that we should do it as one whole pad or whatever. But basically, it's gonna cost some, roughly, It was originally bid at 14 inches, and because it's basically a yard of concrete, we asked for 6 inches because clearance on the window, and he said, it only brings it down to $600, I'm still buying a yard of concrete. So,
He's running already.
if we just do one pad, it's not gonna be that much more, so I don't think it's gonna exceed $1,000. So I would think that we would, approve not to exceed $1,000 on this. And then once we get our other bid, we can take a look at it. It is getting down to a little bit of sense of urgency because, the timing on this. The winter's coming up.
Yeah, we'd like getting them to do it.
And it's just
Yeah.
on this one side of the building, it's not the other
Yeah,
unit?
this one over here is off the
Okay.
sidewalk and off the thing, and it's on a pad. And
Okay.
I walked around with Macklin Mechanical, and he says, this one's fine, you don't have any issues, but that one
It's
over
the
there.
two over there, okay.
So you've got one more bid still coming,
Possibly, so,
but you want to move on this fairly quickly?
right.
Okay.
Well, does this include anything for taking care of the tubing or whatever here?
No.
This is just, we're just talking about concrete pads to lift these up, and we're gonna get into that on the next one. The person that gave us this estimate was, remember last time we had concrete bids for the out front, and we only had 2 people bid? This is the gentleman that we awarded the contract to, so we do have a history with him, and we know that he does quality work. So, like I said, we still have one more, and then, just Marta and I will take a look at them, and I don't know if we need to actually bring that selection process back to the board, but.
Not if you want to move that quickly. So why don't we move to approve with an amount not to exceed $1,000?
Fair enough. Okay, is that your motion?
Yes.
Do I have a second? It's been motioned and supported to approve the concrete pads for the air conditioning units with a not to exceed of $1,000. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed. Okay, now, we need somebody to come in and move these AC units. D. Kramer was the one that installed these units. They gave us a bid of $1,258, and it was Mr. Macklin that pointed out Macklin Mechanical that pointed out the faults with the installation, and his bid's just a little bit higher at $1,360. Basically, what they're going to come in is they're going to disconnect the units. Concrete pad's going to be poured, and these are going to be mounted back on top of these concrete units.
They just won't be 12 to 14 inches high because of the window clearance, but he said he can work something out so that they won't be just sitting directly on the concrete,
Right.
but they won't be elevated as high as what this
To the
says.
window, okay.
And there were some other things that were pointed out with the current installation that wasn't done correctly. We're looking at a little over $102 difference between the two. I don't know if you want to stay with D. Kramer or you want to give somebody else a shot.
So so I'm looking at these pictures,
Yes.
and so within these quotes, and then by the way, this is not what I do for a living. Does it make sense, these things are out of warranty, right, is what you said?
Yes.
And they're 7 years old? So,
Yes.
I guess my question is, so let me ask you the first question. Do we have any idea from either of these guys what the real useful life of these things is?
I think nature,
Okay.
naturistic
It's
had something in there.
And I guess the reason I'm asking that question is would it make sense if we're going to spend a little money to do the pads? Would it make sense simultaneously then to bead blast these things and, for lack of a better term, refurbish them to get some extended life out of them? Because the rust isn't going to go away, the rust is going to continue to climb.
Right.
And so it becomes, does it make sense to, and I'm not sure refurbishing is the right word, but I mean, if we're going to extend their useful life by X, pick a date, and it's another $500 to make these things look better and make them last longer, why wouldn't we do that?
He
mean,
well,
concrete's-
he has to get
concrete's
those
fixing
up.
the-
He has to get those up off the ground. to
Right, but
look
that's
and see
only
what's
fixing the
there.
problem
Sure.
that has already created the issue that we've got with those units. So
Right.
now the question, because we're gonna move them up, but
Right.
they're gonna continue to rust.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Well, I
Yeah,
think it'd be,
And now I guess if you're gonna do it, why wouldn't you do it simultaneously?
you're doing the installation anyway, whether it's new or.
well, if you look
Yeah,
at,
so why
if
not
you
put
look
it
at
on?
Mr. Macklin's
Yeah,
proposal, this first started out as getting the air balanced because we have
Right.
rooms that are stifling
Hot.
hot in the wintertime,
Or cold.
and other ones that are cold. The air has never been balanced when these new units were put in. So it started out as an air balance. And he said, well, let me take a walk around and take a look. And then he brought up the issue, says, you've got an issue out here with these air conditioning units. They need to come up and they need a pad. So then he said, you know what? He goes, I'll just put together a whole proposal for you for maintenance and everything. So if you look on the very back page, he's put in a semi-annual HVAC systems preventive maintenance, which twice a year he's gonna come out, do a 20-point inspection, tune up systems, replace the filters each time he's out here. It gives us, the benefits is it gives us priority scheduling, same-day service, no overtime fees, 20% discount on parts, 15% discount on equipment, and he reduces the emergency rate from $94 to $88 an hour. It's something that we're interested in doing, but he just provided that. I think that there is going to be some sort of maintenance associated with these once he gets them up because of the
But
damage.
it
to the
sounds
ceiling
like
outside.
once, if they're removing the units, pouring the pad, and then they're gonna have to replace the units back on there. While they're doing all that, they might find out, whoa, this really rusted this out, and this needs to be fixed and repaired.
that's my.
We need
Well,
to,
and we're going to get an estimate for that.
for that, okay.
Yeah. We just don't know what it is
Looking
yet.
at- Just looking at this condenser here, where all the fins are off, the tubing on the radiator.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
rusted
that's
right
scary
away.
looking.
It already looks rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it already looks rough.
Yeah.
It
So
already looks-
that'll be an estimate provided to the board.
Right.
Once we figure out what that is, and then we can deem, do we
They've already
put
gotta
money in to
decharge them to get
repair
them.
them, or are we going to have to replace them? I think is what it'll come to. Yeah,
Yeah, all the work necessary to install new ones are being done.
right,
Well, I don't know,
okay.
do we need to buy this 2-year
Let's
maintenance agreement?
wait on that till we find out what we're going to be
Right.
getting 2 years on.
But I do think we definitely need to do the rough air balance.
Yes.
And we definitely need these units removed and replaced so this concrete
Yes.
pad can be put in.
Well, the purpose of the air balance was to hopefully help maybe on some energy cost.
Energy costs and
So that
make
we're
it
not-
comfortable in here.
To have
Isn't that
little
portable
heaters.
heaters?
But I guess my
yeah.
concern is while you're removing and replacing them, you've already got them detached, you've already got them torn apart.
We're gonna get a look at them and
Wouldn't you wanna,
We'll get an
we're
estimate in the.
gonna get a
repair.
look at them in an estimate.
okay, okay. That's,
Because
I guess
we
that's
We'll
all,
bring that back.
If
I guess that's
we're-
all I'm looking for. is
If
just-
we're in the fall and winter months, we won't need to be using the unit.
Okay.
But we wanna
So-
get that pad, we
Yeah,
wanna get
sure.
that,
No, I-
that
Yeah.
pad poured before the winter, and we wanna get those units off.
I got a question.
Okay.
Sure.
This probably, I'm gonna spitball this a little farther, but since we're moving these condensers, and they're AC units, right?
Yep.
Why not get and we're still on propane, right?
Yeah.
Why not get the cost of what it would take to make them heat pumps?
Oh,
Save
Because
on
we're not buying
propane.
new.
Well, no, if we're going new, it's.
That'll be down the
upgrade that a little
road.
bit, but we're making.
Well, that would be a
heat
discussion
pumps
if we have to
create
replace
further
it.
energy savings.
that could go with the, when we get an estimate on what the repair is to sustain these, or here's the cost of new units, or here's the cost of a different type of new unit. Yeah.
If you'd like, when
could
he
do
does come out, I can have you be here, so you can answer these good questions.
Another thing though is if we're going with these pads, they're sized for the units we have. If we
Right,
have pads put in and we find we can't use them because the size is different than what
Right.
we need, that's another problem.
right, good point. Are you gonna do like one huge big pad then?
Oh, that's what we were talking about.
That's what we talked about earlier.
So it would be
That's why
able
we
to
said-
handle different
The
sizes?
one guy said that it'd be more stable if you had one larger
Solid
pad.
instead of two individual, all right.
That
Not
makes
gonna make any
sense.
difference. I mean,
Makes a lot of sense. And for the second part, if this company is willing to give us a 2-year service contract guaranteeing the operation of these units for $780, it's pretty cheap. Now, consider this, that they are offering it to us on a 7 to 8 to 10-year-old units. That alone is worth the $780.
well, I think that, no, the $780
That's just
is for
maintenance.
the air balance.
Well,
the-
No, there's another
Yeah,
780
Yeah.
for the maintenance.
Insurance contract.
Yeah, you're right, it is $780.
I think we
was looking
should
at
wait on the service maintenance contract though until we find
I
out
think
if we're
it's
keeping the old or getting new.
Well,
we need
the
to
thing is
find out what
this,
the
that if
useful
they're
life is
guaranteeing it
of
that they're
them.
gonna last 2 years, it's well worth it.
So,
If we, at the end of 2 years, we decide to buy new, perhaps we'll be in a different position than we are now.
I don't know if it guarantees it that they're gonna work for 2 years. That's just a pricing for a 2-year
No, it's
program.
just 2 years of service for us.
Yeah, it's not guaranteeing that the old ones are gonna
Right.
work for 2 years.
so at this point, I think we're speculating on a lot of things.
Yeah.
we are.
Is there a chance we can get this guy to just come to a meeting? I mean, no, I'm serious, because we're asking questions
Well,
that none of
I
us
would
can answer,
think-
like
I
useful
would
life
think that
and.
Part A, the rough air balance,
Yeah, I agree with you.
But
That's
with
fine.
that-
Part B should be decided on tonight.
That's fine.
We can have him come here for Part C. We could have him come here after he takes this thing apart and takes a look at it.
Yeah.
That would probably be, then we know what we're into. And I don't think he would have a problem with it because he's right around the corner.
So I'll make the motion to approve A and B of Macklin as presented, and to ask if he could possibly come to a meeting in the very near future.
Once he takes the units
Once he
off.
takes the units
Sure.
apart to answer some
Reevaluate
questions.
at that time.
Yeah, reevaluation, okay.
That's
Okay, so
wonderful.
we got a motion and a support to approve Part A and B of the Macklin Mechanical quote. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? That motion carries. That is it for our new business. We have no miscellaneous business, public remarks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Macklin should get the work. Don't know the man. D. Kramer is the one that installed those units where they are. Yep. Big company, don't they know better?
Well, by the look.
I alluded to that. I kind of alluded to that in my comment. We can
Well,
get into
no,
the house of
I'll
whys.
say it, and I'll
Yeah.
hit you, and I'll give you a little reminder, okay? Marna, how many filters did you have to buy this year?
I don't know, I bought a big old pack of them.
You bought a big old pack. How many do we have left?
I have no
3M.
idea. I don't know how often you guys change them.
Okay.
Yeah.
D. Kramer's the one that said the 3M filters won't work because they're too good. Am I,
Too thick.
Oh.
they're an inch thick.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the same company. Okay, I called 3M and they laughed. And I use the same ones in my house, my mother-in-law's house, and Uncle Ray's Dairyland. And they're good, filters, but, I mean, D. Kramer should have known better.
Sure. And we can ask Mr. Macklin these questions too when we get him there.
Yeah, that's.
Just
that's-
about the pads, though, just in somebody's defense there, it looks like those pads were set there, and then the driveway was top coated and gone around those pads. So by default, they might have been raised up at one point by the looks of the.
Oh, and then they like
and then
extended the
asphalt,
parking
when They came
lot.
in to put a lift of asphalt over the driveway, just encompassed the pads, and that's why the asphalt is the same.
That's a
height as the pad.
possibility, yeah.
That's what it looks like in the
Yeah.
picture, anyway.
Okay.
It's,
Maybe.
they should have been lifted.
Should have been,
But
yes.
they're not. So
And a couple other reminders.
we've got that rectified.
Is what happens to all your units when they run a gas line down Center Road. They're gonna run a natural gas line, I'm assuming,
We would like to.
and you're gonna have to convert everything over to natural gas.
That's easy.
We'll deal
Yeah,
with
that's
that
not
when
that
it
big of a
comes.
deal. It's just a conversion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're aware of that.
Yeah, but you want something, wouldn't you want something in place with a contractor?
Yeah, and you know, and that's, before we approved Part C, we wanted to see what we were looking at and ask some questions. And you know, that's still on the table. It's not off the table. It's just, we wanted to get A and B going so we can figure out what we have.
Bring the gas.
So with that,
And lastly, with the pad, with the electrical issue, I don't know where that stands. Wouldn't you have to have a concrete pad for a generator too?
yeah, but I don't know if that's gonna happen this year.
And I have no idea where that location would be anyways with the generator. Oh, it's not even gonna be over there. Okay,
Well, I mean, they
Yeah.
can still pour. Yeah, anyway,
yeah.
we'll address that when it comes time. And, any other remarks?
I'm done.
Okay. All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. The motion and supported to adjourn our meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye,
Aye. Those opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
all right.
We're always talking about
That was a good meeting.
Lively, quite a boisterous.
Are you going?
Yeah. It was, this was a nice, easy meeting tonight.
document of that thing, or was it PDF?